There's something deeply unsettling about watching the world go blurry right before your eyes. One day you're reading a menu without a second thought, and the next you're squinting to see your own grandchild smile across the room. It creeps in gradually, a little more glare at night, a bit more dryness in the afternoon, and before you know it, your independence feels like it's slipping away. But what if I told you that something as small as what's on your plate, even just a handful of the right food, could help protect and even restore your eyesight naturally? I'm Dr. Brian, and welcome to Ageless Garden, where we use science-backed nutrition and daily habits to help you live longer, stronger, and more fully after 50. Today, you'll discover 5 powerful nuts, some you may already have in your kitchen, that can help defend your eyes, improve clarity, and support lasting vision without medication or surgery. Let's be honest, most of us expect our vision to get worse as we age. But the truth is, it's not just getting older. It's oxidative stress. Tiny invisible molecules called free radicals attack our eye cells daily, especially in the retina, where light is constantly processed. Over time, our natural defenses weaken, especially after 60. This leads to symptoms like blurred vision, poor night vision, and dry, irritated eyes. But here's the twist. Nutrition, specifically the right antioxidants and nutrients, can strengthen those defenses and slow down the decline. That's where the right foods come in. Now let's start with one of the simplest and most overlooked allies for your eyesight: almonds. You probably think of almonds as just a snack, something crunchy to munch on between meals. But for your eyes, almonds are nothing short of a shield. They're rich in vitamin E, one of the most powerful antioxidants known to support aging eyes. Think of vitamin E as your retina's bodyguard, standing between your delicate eye tissue and the free radicals trying to wear it down. Here's why that matters. Your retina, which sits at the back of your eye, is where light gets turned into the images your brain understands. It's fragile, and every time you're exposed to sunlight, blue light from screens, pollution, even stress, that retina takes a hit. Over time, those hits add up. The cells get damaged. That's when you start noticing changes. Text that used to be sharp now looks fuzzy, glare becomes unbearable, and your eyes just feel tired. Vitamin E helps protect those cells, reducing damage and slowing the aging process inside your eye. Let me tell you about Harold, a 70-year-old retired mechanic I worked with. Harold loved doing crossword puzzles every morning with his coffee. But one day he told me, "Doc, I'm squinting so much now, I can barely finish one puzzle." His eyes were irritated, dry, and words on the page just weren't as clear as they used to be. We ran his vision tests, and what we found wasn't unusual. Early signs of oxidative stress in the retina. No disease yet, but definitely signs his eyes were under pressure. I suggested a few simple changes, one of which was adding a small handful of almonds to his breakfast every day. Nothing fancy, just 23 almonds, raw or dry roasted, right alongside his toast and coffee. 6 months later, Harold walked into my office grinning. "I finished the whole puzzle this morning," he said. "No glasses, no squinting." He didn't change his life overnight. He didn't take medication. He just gave his eyes what they were quietly starving for: nutrients. The beautiful thing about almonds is that they don't just deliver vitamin E, they also provide healthy fats and plant compounds that help your body absorb and use that vitamin more effectively. Supplements can help, yes, but food-based sources are usually easier for your body to recognize and use. Kind of like giving your body a tool it already knows how to use, instead of handing it a manual in a foreign language. So how should you eat them? The best way is to keep it simple. Raw or dry roasted almonds are ideal. They preserve more nutrients and skip the added oils or sugars that can do more harm than good. You can sprinkle them into your oatmeal, blend them into a smoothie, toss them onto a salad, or just eat them plain. If you've got dental concerns, you can even soak them overnight to soften them up. But remember, almonds are calorie dense. A small handful a day is all you need. More isn't better. It's about consistency. If you've noticed your eyes feeling more tired lately, if you're seeing a bit more blur than you'd like, or if you just want to get ahead of age-related vision decline, almonds are one of the most natural, gentle, and effective first steps you can take. Don't underestimate the power of one small handful a day. It's not just a snack. It's a message to your eyes. I've got your back. If almonds are the bodyguards protecting your eyes from damage, then walnuts are the fuel lines, keeping the blood flowing, the oxygen moving, and every delicate tissue in your eye well fed and alive. Here's something most people don't realize. Your eyes don't just need vitamins, they need circulation. Tiny hair-thin blood vessels in your eyes are responsible for carrying oxygen and nutrients to the retina. And when those vessels become inflamed, narrowed, or clogged, as they often do with age, high blood pressure, or poor diet, your vision begins to suffer. That's where walnuts come in. Walnuts are one of the best plant-based sources of omega-3 fatty acids, especially a type called alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA. You may have heard omega-3s are good for your heart and brain. That's true, but they're also crucial for your eyes. Let me explain it like this. Omega-3s are like the oil that keeps the engine of your visual system running smoothly. They reduce inflammation, improve blood vessel flexibility, and help strengthen the structure of your retinal cells, especially the photoreceptors that detect light and color. Without enough omega-3s, the retina struggles to function properly. You get more blurriness, more dryness, more fatigue, and sometimes you don't even realize how hard your eyes have been working until they start giving out earlier in the day. That's exactly what happened with Clara, a 66-year-old retired teacher who came to me with a complaint I hear far too often. By 3 p.m., I feel like my eyes are shutting down. I can't even enjoy my afternoon shows. Everything gets fuzzy and I have to rest my eyes just to finish dinner. When we checked her retina and pressure, there wasn't serious damage yet, but her eyes were definitely under strain. We also ran her labs and her omega-3 levels were low, which isn't uncommon. Many older adults don't get enough, especially if they've cut back on fish or follow a plant-based diet. So we made a simple swap. Instead of her usual cookie snack in the afternoon, Clara began eating a small handful of walnuts, about 1/4 cup, along with a glass of water. 3 months later, she returned and said something I'll never forget. I made it through an entire documentary last night. No eye strain, no headache, just me, the story, and a big bowl of walnuts. Now, to be clear, walnuts didn't cure Clara's eyes, but they gave her what her body was missing. They reduced the silent inflammation happening in her vessels and helped her retina get the oxygen and nutrients it needed. And the benefits don't stop at your eyes. Walnuts also support your memory, mood, and cardiovascular health, which all connect back to how well your eyes perform. Here's the good news. You don't need a gourmet recipe or fancy prep to enjoy them. Toss walnuts into your morning oatmeal, blend them into a smoothie, chop them into a salad, or just eat them plain. Keep a jar nearby and make it a habit. You're not just feeding your eyes, you're nourishing your entire self. One important note, choose raw or dry roasted walnuts without added salt or sugar and store them in a cool, dry place, even in the fridge, because their oils can go rancid over time. So the next time your eyes start feeling tired earlier than they used to, don't just reach for eye drops or blame the years. Ask yourself, have I fed my vision today? And if not, reach for a handful of walnuts. You may be surprised by how much power lives in something so small. We've talked about protection, we've talked about circulation, but what about precision? The clarity, the sharpness, the ability to see detail, especially in low light. That's where zinc comes in. And one of the tastiest ways to get zinc? Cashews. Now, zinc isn't the kind of nutrient that gets a lot of attention. It doesn't sound flashy like omega-3 or vitamin E. But when it comes to your eyes, and especially after 60, zinc is a quiet hero. It doesn't just support the eye, it helps operate the entire visual machinery. Let me explain. Inside your eye is a little region called the macula. It's the part of the retina responsible for central vision. Recognizing faces, reading labels, driving, seeing your grandchild smile up close. It's incredibly delicate and, unfortunately, one of the first areas affected by age-related degeneration. Zinc helps protect the macula by doing two crucial things. First, it supports the production of melanin, a natural pigment in the eye that acts like built-in sunglasses, absorbing harmful light and shielding your retina from damage. Second, it's a key player in transporting vitamin A from your liver to your retina, a critical process for maintaining healthy vision, especially at night. Here's the kicker. As we age, our bodies absorb less zinc from food. So even if you're eating the same diet you did at 40, your eyes might be getting less of what they need at 65. That's where cashews can make a real difference. A small handful, around 16 to 18 cashews a day, can offer a meaningful dose of zinc, along with other nutrients like magnesium, iron, and healthy fats that support overall eye health. I remember working with Dolores, a 72-year-old grandmother who'd recently started avoiding driving at night. She said, "I just don't trust my eyes anymore. Headlights blur everything. I can't judge depth, and I miss turns." She didn't have cataracts. Her eye pressure was fine, but we ran a nutrient panel, and sure enough, her zinc levels were low. Her diet was lacking nuts, seeds, and legumes, all great sources of zinc. Rather than jumping to medication or supplements, we started simple. Add a handful of cashews as our afternoon snack, and switch up some meals to include more zinc-rich plant foods. 4 months later, Dolores walked in with a confidence I hadn't seen in years. I drove home from church last night. First time in a while. No panic, no squinting. It felt like my eyes could breathe again. That's what zinc does. It restores trust between you and your vision. Of course, like any good thing, moderation matters. Cashews are delicious but calorie-dense. Too many too often can work against other health goals. So stick to a small handful, enough to nourish, not overload. Another tip, choose raw or dry roasted cashews, not the salted, sugared, or oil-fried versions that crowd supermarket shelves. You're doing this for your eyes, after all, not just your taste buds. And if you want to get creative, cashews are wonderfully versatile. Blend them into creamy sauces or smoothies, toss them into a stir-fry, or pair them with fruit for a balanced snack. Their mild flavor works almost anywhere. Remember, vision isn't just about what your eyes can do. It's about what you're giving them to work with. And zinc is the delivery truck your eyes rely on to receive the materials they need, to repair, to adjust, to focus. So if you've noticed trouble seeing in dim light, more glare at night, or just a general fuzziness in detail, don't ignore it. Your eyes may simply be asking for a bit more support. Cashews can help you answer that call. It's a small step, but so often that's where real change begins. There's something beautifully simple about a hazelnut. Small, round, and slightly sweet, it doesn't beg for attention the way flashy superfoods do. But inside that humble shell, there's a powerhouse blend of nutrients that can help guard your eyes like a loyal friend, quietly, steadily, and deeply. If almonds are protective, walnuts fuel circulation, and cashews help with precision, then hazelnuts are the fortress. They build resilience in your eyes, not just today, but for the long haul. Why? Because hazelnuts combine two potent defenders, vitamin E and polyphenols. You've already heard me speak about vitamin E, the antioxidant that protects your retinal cells from oxidative stress. Hazelnuts are rich in it, and what makes that especially powerful is that they also contain a unique group of plant compounds called polyphenols. Think of polyphenols as the body's cleanup crew. They neutralize those rogue free radicals that damage cells, including the fragile cells in your eyes. Now, as we age, our ability to combat oxidative stress declines. The body becomes more vulnerable to chronic low-grade inflammation, especially in organs with high metabolic demand, like your eyes. Your retina, in particular, is hungry for oxygen and nutrients, and that means it's also more prone to damage over time. Hazelnuts step in here as a double shield, not only protecting your eyes from damage, but also helping your body absorb fat-soluble vitamins, like vitamin A and vitamin D, which are critical for vision, immunity, and overall health. Let me tell you about Martin, a 69-year-old former photographer. He came in complaining of a strange problem. "I can't seem to capture the light anymore. Not with my camera, not with my eyes. Everything looks dull." We talked through his habits. Martin had been healthy most of his life, but had recently cut back on fats to manage cholesterol. As a result, he was unintentionally limiting his intake of fat-soluble vitamins, and the antioxidants needed to support absorption. I asked him to start adding hazelnuts to his breakfast routine. Just a small handful, raw or dry roasted, sprinkled over his yogurt or oats. Within weeks, he noticed not just clearer vision, but something else. The contrast is back. Shadows are shadows, highlights are bright. It's like someone cleaned my windshield. That's the quiet magic of hazelnuts. And they're not just helping your eyes. They're boosting your immune system too. The same polyphenols that protect your retina also help fight inflammation throughout the body, reducing your risk of chronic disease. But like all good things, there's a right way to eat them. Tip number one, go for raw or dry roasted hazelnuts. These retain the most nutrients without adding harmful fats or sugars. Tip number two, avoid the candy-coated or chocolate-drenched versions, tempting as they are. Those might satisfy your sweet tooth, but they do nothing for your eyes. Tip number three, pair hazelnuts with other nutrient-rich foods to boost absorption. A few nuts with carrots, leafy greens, or even a boiled egg can enhance how your body takes in vision-supporting compounds. And don't worry if hazelnuts aren't your favorite right away. Taste buds can adapt, especially when they begin to associate certain foods with feeling better. Sharper vision, less irritation, more comfort during screen time or reading. Remember, eyesight isn't just a reflection of the eyes, it's a mirror of what you feed your body, how you move, and the choices you make day by day. Hazelnuts might seem like a small addition, but when eaten consistently, they build a foundation of resilience inside your eyes. So if your vision has felt a bit more washed out, if you've been reaching for brighter lights or struggling to pick up contrast, maybe it's not just your age. Maybe your eyes are craving deeper support, and hazelnuts are a delicious, natural way to start giving them exactly that. Now we come to the most surprising nut of them all, one that acts like nature's own version of sunglasses: pistachios. Most people think of pistachios as a tasty green snack that comes in a shell. But what most don't realize is that these little nuts are one of the only nuts that contain two of the most powerful nutrients for vision protection: lutein and zeaxanthin. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine the cells in your eye as a camera. The lens focuses light, and the retina, deep in the back, receives and processes that image. But what if the lens gets bombarded with harsh blue light from screens, sunlight, or fluorescent bulbs? Over time, the image quality starts to suffer. You see glare, halos, and feel the strain. That's where lutein and zeaxanthin come in. These two nutrients are carotenoids, plant pigments that literally filter blue light before it hits your retina. Think of them as a built-in pair of light-dimming glasses, shielding your sensitive eye tissue from damage. And unlike supplements or medications, pistachios deliver these carotenoids in a form your body can actually absorb because they come with natural fats, which are essential for the body to use these pigments properly. I'll never forget Dennis, a 74-year-old former electrician. His job had required keen vision for decades, reading wires, identifying small components, working in low light. But after retiring, Dennis noticed something unsettling. I'd go outside and immediately feel blinded, glare off the pavement, floaters dancing in my vision. Reading street signs was getting tough. He feared the worst. Maybe cataracts, maybe macular degeneration. But his eye exam, remarkably stable. His retina was fine, his pressure normal. What he was missing wasn't structure, it was protection. I introduced him to the idea of carotenoids and specifically how pistachios could naturally boost his lutein and zeaxanthin levels. Skeptical but willing, he started eating one small handful, unsalted, every afternoon with tea. The change wasn't immediate, but within 6 weeks, Dennis noticed fewer floaters, less discomfort in bright light. And here's the beautiful part. I was able to drive at sunset again without squinting like a mole. Pistachios helped rebuild his eye's natural defenses. They don't just help with glare. Lutein and zeaxanthin are also known to improve contrast sensitivity, meaning they help you see edges more clearly, especially in low light. That's crucial for seniors, whether you're navigating dimly lit hallways at night or trying to read fine print on a label. Let's talk serving size. A small handful, about 1 ounce or 49 pistachios, is enough to provide a meaningful dose of these protective compounds. And like with the other nuts, choose the right kind. Unsalted is best. Sodium can raise eye pressure over time. Roasted is fine, but avoid those cooked in oils or loaded with flavor powders. If you prefer them in the shell, even better, the act of shelling slows you down, helping with portion control. You can snack on them solo or mix them into a trail mix with almonds and hazelnuts. Toss them into a salad or even chop them over roasted vegetables for a satisfying crunch. Now here's a fascinating fact. Lutein and zeaxanthin are stored in your macula, the very center of the retina responsible for sharp vision. The more you eat, the more your body can store, and the better your internal sunglasses work. In fact, a 2019 study published in Nutrients found that increased dietary intake of lutein and zeaxanthin was directly associated with improved visual performance in older adults, particularly in glare recovery and night vision. Pistachios may not be the first food you think of when you imagine protecting your eyes, but perhaps they should be. So the next time you're in the snack aisle, don't just reach for chips or crackers. Reach for something that feeds your future, something that supports clarity, comfort, and long-term vision, literally and figuratively, because sometimes the smallest changes make the biggest difference. Now that we've uncovered these 5 extraordinary nuts, almonds, walnuts, cashews, hazelnuts, and pistachios, the big question becomes, how do I actually fit these into my life? Because let's be honest, change is hard. You might be thinking, Dr. Brian, I don't want to overhaul my whole diet. Good news, you don't have to. The beauty of these nuts is how easy they are to add to your existing habits. No fancy diets, no rigid routines, just a few smart, delicious tweaks that fit your life, not the other way around. Here's the simple rule of thumb. Choose 2 to 3 of these 5 nuts each day, about 1 ounce total. That's it. A small handful, not a bowl. You're not replacing meals, you're adding protection. Let's walk through what that can actually look like in your day. Morning boost. Mornings are a golden opportunity to get your eye health nutrients in early, before the day gets away from you. Add chopped almonds or crushed pistachios into your oatmeal or overnight oats. They add a satisfying crunch and a soft sweetness. Sprinkle walnuts over Greek yogurt alongside berries for a fiber and omega-3 rich breakfast that fuels both your body and your brain. Or if you're more of a smoothie person, blend a spoonful of cashew butter into your morning shake. It adds creaminess and that vital zinc for retinal support. The idea isn't to reinvent your breakfast, just to upgrade it quietly and consistently. Lunchtime additions. Midday meals are where most people hit the energy dip. This is also when vision fatigue kicks in, especially if you're reading, driving, or on a screen. Here's where nuts shine again. Toss hazelnuts or pistachios into your salad for crunch and carotenoids. Add a side of walnuts with your soup or sandwich. They travel well and don't spoil. If you're eating a wrap or grain bowl, sprinkle a few sliced almonds or cashew pieces inside. And if you're someone who skips lunch or eats on the go, keep a pre-portioned nut mix in your bag or car. It's your natural insurance plan, a pocket-sized eye shield. Afternoon snack now. Let's talk about the danger zone, the 3 p.m. crash. This is when chips, cookies, or sugary snacks start whispering your name. You feel tired. Your eyes ache. You reach for something fast. But what if, instead, you had a tiny container of roasted cashews or honey-free dry roasted hazelnuts ready, or a small bag of pistachios in their shells, giving your hands something to do while you snack slow? Not only would you be fueling your vision, but you'd also be improving your energy, stabilizing your blood sugar, and supporting long-term heart and brain health. Dinner or dessert. You can even work these nuts into your evening routine. A crust of crushed walnuts and herbs on top of baked salmon, a simple cashew stir-fry with vegetables and brown rice, or a little dish of dark chocolate chips and hazelnuts for dessert. Yes, you can enjoy life and protect your eyes at the same time. The point is, this isn't about strict rules or punishment. This is about building a rhythm, a gentle daily flow that naturally supports your vision over time. Pro tips for success. Buy in bulk and pre-portion. Use small containers or zip bags to control portions and reduce effort. Go raw or dry roasted whenever possible. Salted and sugar-coated varieties are tasty, but come with health trade-offs. Store your nuts in the fridge to keep them fresh and extend shelf life, especially walnuts and pistachios, which can turn rancid over time. Make your own vision mix. Combine equal parts almonds, walnuts, cashews, hazelnuts, and pistachios. Mix once a week and keep a jar in the pantry or purse. Now, some of you might be wondering, what if I have a nut allergy or digestive issues? Fair question. If you're allergic to tree nuts, you'll need to speak with your doctor or dietitian for alternatives. Some seeds, like sunflower seeds, rich in vitamin E, or chia flax, rich in omega-3s, can provide overlapping benefits. Always listen to your body. There's no one-size-fits-all path to health. But for the vast majority of people, just a handful a day of these 5 nuts can dramatically shift the health of your eyes. Not tomorrow, but over weeks and months. Slowly, naturally, steadily. You'll start noticing less strain when reading. Easier adjustment between light and dark. Fewer floaters, less squinting, and sharper contrast. This is how we take back our health in our 60s, 70s, and beyond. Not with overnight miracles, but with momentum, day by day, bite by bite. Vision becomes clearer. Life becomes brighter. You don't need perfect vision to live a vibrant life. You need hope, habits, and a little help from nature. The 5 nuts we've explored aren't magic, but over time, they can truly transform how you see the world. Start small, a handful a day. You're not just feeding your eyes. You're fueling your independence, your confidence, your freedom. So go ahead, pick 1 nut today. Make it part of your journey. I'm Dr. Brian, and this is Ageless Garden. If this helped you, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let's keep growing stronger together.